and welcome to Love Island The Morning After, the only official Love Island podcast.
Yes, another night and another juicy episode. Guys, Love Island All-Stars has kept us on our toes and it's just been delivering.
This morning, we are joined again by wonderful comedian Kae Kurd. Kae, are you ready to let your guard down with us?
Well, Amy, Hart and Indiyah Polack, I certainly am, but only if I can go at my own pace.
Well,
you can always get your own pace.
You can take
as long
it
as it's
slow
our
with us.
pace.
Yeah, of course.
Starting with Tina and Scott.
Tina and Scott.
Going at different paces, I think, now. Scott is now trying to re-accelerate and she's breaking. I don't know. Do we think Tina is more upset because she's embarrassed that her dirty laundry was aired throughout the Vegas evening?
Well, it's not nice that you're finding out from somebody else that a person that you're like besotted with essentially isn't feeling the same way.
Yeah.
You'd rather be told directly and not it aired out in a fashion like that. So
Yeah, it is quite embarrassing. It was hurtful and embarrassing, a bit of both, you know. She was embarrassed and it was a hurtful thing to hear because she really obviously does like Scott. And then just to hear out of nowhere, oh, I'm not sure if he's on the same page. You know, it came out a bit awkward.
I think when we've had Harriet come in this week, we haven't really seen Tina and Scott. So I don't really know how she's like acting to make him think like this.
Yeah.
Or do you think he's just panicking and self-sabotaging?
I think he is self-sabotaging. I think he was... There was that bit when they were on the daybed, weren't they? They were just like sat down and talking about things and he's all like, oh, I don't know, like... You know, it was almost like he was like trying to like soften the blow before whatever was going to come out that evening.
But then he was snogging her, wasn't he? And the boys were like, I thought you were going to call it off. I'm really confused.
Yeah.
But like the boys said, I think you're really overthinking this. And Alex came in, obviously, in the first week, Alex Bowen, and he was in the villa with Scott. And he said that Scott does overthink absolutely everything.
I'm the complete opposite. I'll meet you and then I'm like, oh my gosh, what would our kids look like? It's going to be amazing. I'll start planning my future together. It's like, it's been a date, man. Chill, relax.
I think Scott is the obvious case of just overthinking. I think he realised it himself. And even Tina saying at the end of their conversation that, you know, she came with her guard down and he came with his guard up. I think now he's finally starting to realise just take things at face value and enjoy it. Like, we're going into like the third week now.
But also,
Do you know
I'm
what I
not being
mean?
funny. You're 36, man. What, let your guard down, bro. Like,
He's been through a lot, probably.
But let your guard down, man. It's like, I get it. Like, we've all been through stuff, but come on, man. Like, live a little, bro. Like, you know what I mean? At that age, you should be able to work out what your feelings are for people.
Absolutely.
Like, stop wasting people's time. You know how you feel. Like, you lot know better than I do. It's a pressure cooker in there, isn't it? So, like, it amplifies your feelings. So if you're not feeling like things are going to progress with this girl, then be honest with yourself and be real with her as well.
2 weeks of spending every minute of every day together, sharing a bed. You know.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you think Scott doesn't know? Are we now implying maybe Scott doesn't actually like Tina that much?
Where does he live?
Well, he's originally from Manchester.
Yeah.
Manchester to Chelsea. I don't know. It's a commute.
But, I mean, it's a direct train maybe, but like to London, to Euston.
250 quid a return.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Very
Kay.
spenny for that relationship, you know.
I think we all remember as well, Tina picked Scott and he kept saying, I owe it to myself to get to know her. He wasn't like, I want her.
Yes.
He kept saying, I owe it to her. He was doing like some sort of pity mission. Like, I owe it to her to get to know her.
She deserves to get to know me.
The universe is coming for me.
What I found weird about the whole thing was he goes to chat to her afterwards and he's like, I don't want you to move on.
Do you think that's fair?
No, just be real with somebody how you feel.
Yeah.
You can't have your cake and eat it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just be like, yo, I like you and I want this to progress. But he wants to still be in the villa, still get her lips here and there, still get a hug in the bed and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like that. If you're not giving somebody the emotional attachment that they require, you can't have things the other way as well. Do you know what I
It is
mean?
because when you're in the villa and you're single, you are vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not sure you're the one, but right now you're the one out of these like 7 or 8 girls.
You're not Mrs. Right, you're Mrs. Right now. Yeah.
And if I like sack it off, then I could go home.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to move on. I just want to go our own pace, our own pace.
Obviously, she doesn't seem like she wants to move on anyway. But if she did, she's well within her rights to because she was embarrassed. And the way she found out that hefty piece of information, it really wasn't nice.
Yeah.
And that is enough to actually send anyone running for the hills. So
It is a bit of a funny one because it's like, who else would she get with?
Well,
yeah.
the other person she liked was Luca. So maybe that's why he did it.
Oh, Luca doing it to Tina.
Yeah, to try and
'Cause he
split
secretly-
Scott and Luca up, and it's backfired.
That was a very
massively.
that was a very crazy way to do it. That was the case.
I mean, it's probably not the case.
We
but
saw tears from Luca. Which
we
was,
did. Second time in a series.
You know I love you. Come here. Oh, bro. Oh, sorry. Oh, man. Didn't see that one coming, did we? I didn't want to bring that side out on you, bro.
No, and I didn't want to bring it out on you, you know?
No.
Just because like, I look up to you, like, in here, do you know what I mean?
Move on, we're not ruining this experience, we're not ruining our little brotherhood in here.
100%.
I love you, bro. Come here. Come here, man.
Incredible stuff. Do you look like it when a man cries?
Yes. I personally do. I like a man that's very in touch with his feelings. Like, don't give me the whole
So
tough
like just
guy.
cries all the time?
No, cry within reason. Like, if you're upset, fine. But like, I don't want you to like hold all your feelings in or like act like you're tough or like you don't care.
So over like big things?
Yeah, big things.
Not like toilet papers run out.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my God.
That's like, I would cry about that.
Like there has to be levels to the crying.
Yeah.
Like, Nan's dead, cry. But
yeah.
run out of toilet paper.
Or
Why are you crying about this?
What you
yeah.
Was that understandable crying?
I feel like it was an overwhelming cry from Luca.
Okay.
Like, as in him and Scott are actually mates. I feel like he looks up to Scott as like an older brother. And then obviously the night before last when he's thinking, oh, crap, is my older brother catching feels for the girl that I'm with? And it all got a bit much for him. So I think after he said what he said, he even said around the fire pit, oh, do you know what? I do regret it. Like, I've upset Tina.
Didn't someone say like, are you done with Scott? And
He's like,
done.
I've never felt like that about one of my boys. Like, yeah, I'm done with them.
That's how you feel about like your siblings. Though. Like when me and my sister get in a row and like, I love her, but she's really irritated me. Like, the row will end and then we'll try to talk it out and then we'll start crying because it's like, no, but this is what I meant. But it's kind of like, you know, it's like, it's passionate.
It is passionate, yeah. I'm glad that they pieced it up though, because I can imagine it can be quite awkward in the villa if you hate each other and it's just like you've got to sleep opposite them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I like to try and bear a grudge. I've always said on this podcast, well, sorry if you've heard this millions of times, but I am really one to bear a grudge, but I also can't be mean to people. So
you just pack your bags and leave.
It eats me up inside. So I have to be nice to them, talk to them, be nice to them and check how they are and stuff. But in my head, I know exactly what they've said to me, exactly what they've said about me, exactly what they've done to me, what they've done to my friends. And it eats me up inside.
But would you say is that because maybe you're not a confrontational person?
Yeah, I hate confrontation.
Or are you battling whether you should like forgive them or not? Because I get that. Like sometimes I'll know what someone's done to me, but like they'll apologize. So I'm like, oh, if I've decided to forgive you, now I need to get up and move on. But it's like, I'm not going to forget about it.
If someone is my best friend's arch nemesis, they are my arch nemesis.
So you inherit beef.
I inherit beef. I'm like Ekin, I stick up for my girls. I always do. But obviously I don't stick up for them sort of vocally. I would just say, yeah, come on then. Yeah, you want some? Yeah, because my best friend, she will get you. I won't. I'm a lover, not a fighter, but she will get you.
You're just the person that will like do the admin.
I'll arrange the location of the rumble. Scott also said that he feels that Luca can give out banter but can't take it. I feel like we've all met a lot of boys like that in our lives.
Yeah.
Do we think Luca is one of them?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because you were in there with him, weren't you?
And I feel like we have seen Luca a lot in the villa just do banterous things. And then when it's his turn, it's like, oh.
It felt like a bit like, you know, when you don't have a comeback for something and just go like, somebody will say, oh, like, I don't like your t-shirt. Yeah, but at least my dad's around. Like, it's just the level of like retort wasn't comparable with what he said.
I think obviously they were both like bantering with each other. And it can be argued that obviously like Scott might have started first when he had the whole situation about say something. Then he was like, oh no, I won't say it. I want to be respectful. However, Luca isn't someone that's going to back down, which is fair because if you're going to say to me like, you've got a joke, just say it.
I get that though. Sometimes you want to say it, but it's because it's funny, but it can offend people.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes some things are best left unsaid.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
I did like the way though that Ronnie did sort of explain to Luca and didn't let him get away with it by saying, oh, you know, you made a mistake. He said, we agreed that we wouldn't say anything and it was bro code. And Luke was, well, as soon as I get prodded.
I stick to the law until I don't want to.
Yeah.
That's basically what it sounded like.
It's bro code.
Your Honour, I was a law-abiding citizen until I was a bit broke and I needed to steal. That's what it felt like.
I do think it was like a joke from Scott. And, he said like, oh, I've got something I can say, but I'm not going to say it. And the fact that you then upset Tina so much from those like 2 lines from Scott, I think,
Well, he did apologise because he's got girls in his family.
Do you think that is a thing about blokes that have got girls in their family?
Personally, I just feel like you should respect women like you should respect anybody else. Like respect people because of them, not because you've got a mum or a sister.
Everyone's got a mum. Like you might not be around anymore, but everyone has come from a mother.
You don't get it for the other way either, though. Like nobody goes, do you know what? I respect men because I've got a brother.
Yeah, I've got a dad.
Yeah, you should just be saying, I respect women anyway.
Absolutely.
How awkward is it in the villa, though, if you're beefing with someone?
I don't really beef that much, but it is awkward. Do you know what I mean? Like people are all like, tiptoeing around each other, and it's just tension. It's smaller than it looks on telly. So like, if people are arguing and you're sitting on the daybed and they're around the fire pit, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna see it, and then it's just like tumbleweeds.
But even when you had like tension with Dammy, really, like when you came back from Casa Amor, what is that like? Are you like, I'm not gonna chat to him?
I don't want to speak to him, but like, I'll walk past you and like, we'll air each other, but it's like, you're just here.
You're just walking past him.
Yeah, do you know how hard it is to walk past someone who is like 10 centimeters away from you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to walk past you, but I'm going to walk past you to sit on the daybed, which is like 5 minutes away from where you are.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a bit silly.
See, all my friends were like, just like, don't say anything to Curtis. You can talk about it tonight. I'd be like, okay. I'd literally walk past him, going to like past the kitchen. I'd be like, what did you have to do? I couldn't help myself.
Fair enough. I just couldn't imagine it. Like, especially if it's somebody I've just began to dislike and hate.
It's just awkward more than anything. You know, like when you have an argument with someone and then you'll storm off to your room or like you'll storm out the house, you'll go for a walk or whatever. You're storming off to another section, which is less than 30 seconds away.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
January Blues, don't know her. All I'm seeing is neon as we're finally back for another series of All-Stars full of lust, love and pre-loved fits. This week, our Islanders mixed business with pleasure at eBay's Blazer Squad party. And it wasn't just Casey and Luca's heads turning for Gabby. I was living for the sexy siren spin she added by layering a stunning pinstripe blazer from And Other Stories with a gorgeous Versace dress previously worn by Indiyah and Lana. Such a nice touch. I was also really feeling Casey's silk heat Prada shirt. Paired with those relaxed fit trousers, it was giving off-duty in the best way, perfect for a pre-love party or any night out. What can we say? Another day, another sleigh in the villa. Have you got a party or an important celebration coming up? Discover your next look on eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars.
All right, so what do we think about Ronnie and Harriet?
At the end, it was like a teen rom-com movie, wasn't it? Where there's like the fade in and the fade out of like Ronnie outside upset with his foot up on the door and then Harriet staring into space inside the villa. Do we think they're going to make it up? Is this just a bump in the road or is it the end?
Gosh, I think it is a bump in a road and I think they're definitely going to make up. However, it's a very heavy situation because I feel like, as Ronnie was saying, this isn't like the old villa. I didn't know you then. We have actually now dated on the outside. We've come back together again and there is a lot of feelings involved. But on the flip side, Harriet is well within her rights to be like, look, I'm not in love with you, which is fair. And if guys do come in, I am going to get to know them, which she should do.
But do you know what? It's that classic guy cheating on a girl for 100 million times and then a woman like looks at another man and he goes,
oh my God,
bro, what did I do to deserve this? It's that kind of moment where of course she's seen somebody else or of course she's spoken to somebody else.
Yeah.
You've been kissing people left, right and centre. And she's meant to be all right with that. Like the whole nation's seen him like lip locking with other people.
Yeah. He made out that he was annoyed, didn't he, when they were in bed together? And he said, have you been in bed with anyone else since we were together? And she went, yeah, like just joking. He made it look like he'd stormed out, but he hadn't. He'd gone to ask Elma if he could sleep in the bed.
Oh my God, Elms.
Shut up, Ronnie.
Is it all right to stay in bed tonight?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. It's called maturing.
It's nice to be back, you guys. Thanks for having me, Elma.
You're welcome.
What do you think about Elma and him sleeping in the bed together?
When I was watching it literally last night, I was so confused. I was like, why? Obviously, I know it wasn't a romantic thing, but Elma is very strong for actually letting him sit in the bed.
Yeah.
And like you guys were saying, maybe she's actually just over the situation.
She's a kind person.
Yeah, she is.
Sleeping outside can't be nice.
Well, the tan lines I saw on Ronnie's legs. Just let him sleep in the bed.
Let him sleep in the bed, a pillow wall.
Pillow wall saves a lot.
Yeah, but you just like look the other way, didn't you?
Imagine if they accidentally did the bum touch.
And so, ooh, yeah, it's very much, ooh.
Ronnie obviously has been putting in the effort though. He took Flops, her teddy bear, to the secret garden with Harriet and they did have a kiss. Do we like that he brought Flops along for the ride or is it a bit cringe?
I mean, each to their own, but clearly that's their kind of love language and I've never even heard of Flops.
I don't know where this Flops came from. It wasn't really...
Flops didn't have a full storyline in the summer,
yeah, we didn't
but I
get
think Flops was a background artiste.
Probably more than some of the Casa Amor boys that we saw, but it felt a bit cringe.
See, I'm not a teddy bear person.
Okay, what are you?
I'm nothing.
I do find it weird when a grown woman has a teddy bear.
Why? What if it's from like when they were young and it's like a comfort blanket?
Precisely why I find it weird. Grow up.
I'm going to be honest to you.
Go on.
We asked Harriet, do you love Ronnie? She said, I'm not in love with Ronnie.
All right.
I have a different sort of love for him.
Okay.
The thing is, Ronnie, I don't want you hurt. And
No,
I don't.
but
Because
then
she's
it's
ready
just
to
like-
explore with other men, you know what I mean? If it works in the end, great. But don't get your hopes up too much now.
So, Ekin Su is once again being the villa newscaster. She's sharing the news throughout the villa. She's told Ronnie that Harriet's not in love with him and that she's happy to see other guys. Do we think she was in the right? Why do we think she did it? Discuss.
In my opinion, I think Ekin's a bit of a game player and I think she's got one eye on the prize. And if she sees another happy couple, it's a bit of, how can I sow the seeds of doubt into people's minds? Let them be in love with each other, man. Why are you being... Also, it's not your business. When she said, oh, Ronnie's a mate. Since when? I swear I haven't seen him have an individual conversation once in the villa together.
I would say that after Danny and Jack in series 4 were coupled up on day 1, had a bit of a roller coaster ride, and then won the whole thing for being a really sweet, unproblematic couple.
Yes.
I'd say from that series onwards, there's become a bit of a race. And when people see other people going exclusive, becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, saying I love you, people then like, we need to jump forward a space. We need to jump forward a space because they're getting closer, they're getting closer, they're getting closer. And I wonder if that's what's happening here.
Kaz and Montel. So we're seeing Kaz and Montel finally getting together. They had their first kiss.
Yeah.
Very raunchy.
Climbing over him on the beanbags.
Yeah.
It was intense.
She was licking him up like one of the last wings you get in a Morley's like box, you know what I mean?
Kaz also said that she's in her soft girl era. Now,
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
you don't know what that is, Kae?
No.
I feel like soft girl is more like being...
It's a feeling.
Yeah,
not
it's
an
a
action.
feeling.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. And I feel like it's being able to like be in your feminine energy.
Okay.
And just like take...
Lots of exfoliation.
Yeah.
Spa days.
And letting the guy like take the lead and not feeling like you're having to like fight for your place so much. You can just relax.
Basically, tables booked at 8.
Yeah.
Picking you up.
Yeah.
Wear a dress.
Yeah.
See you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a bit of an ice queen and Sam's like got used to that and he likes that. So then when I'm in a bit of like a soft girl day, I was watching Ant and Decca thing and I was crying at some like where they surprised someone and I was like full on sobbing and he was like, who are you and what have you done?
I've had moments like that. The last thing I proper cried at was Eminem's music video where he found out he was a granddad in a music video.
Well, that's quite wholesome.
You wind him up all the time, all the time. Don't do that again. Like that will put me off.
Now, Luca and Grace obviously were going very well and then the Vegas night happened and Grace didn't seem to love what Luca did.
No.
Because she was like, stop doing that because it puts me off.
But then he said to the girls, didn't he? She really supported me and comforted me after the Vegas
she told
night.
you off
No, she didn't.
in bed.
She told you to stop doing it.
She gave you an ultimatum, buddy. Like, one more time and we're out.
Yeah,
this
is
done.
your last straw.
Do we think they're going to go the distance? Do we think they're going to go from strength to strength? Or now Grace knows that maybe Scott does fancy her
Well,
and she's got other options. I liked the way, we didn't talk about it yesterday morning, but in the game when they said to Grace, who would you couple up with if you went with Luca? She just said Casey to like shut it down, shut down the argument. Like she is a real grown up.
But do you think she would actually go for Casey or like you said,
No.
do you think that was just for argument's sake?
I think that was to shut it down.
Yeah.
To like end the
Because
beef.
I think it was very awkward and there was a massive silence because I think everyone was expecting her to say
Yeah.
Scott, especially after the beef. And then she was like, Casey.
I almost think as well, though, now in the villa, like the relationships have already been set. So I feel like even if they do fancy somebody else, I don't think anybody wants to step on anybody's toes anymore.
No. If we were on a normal summer series, we'd still have 5 weeks left. That's a long time for a lot to happen because things can change day to day in there.
Yeah.
But we're literally halfway through the series now.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get to like, as per Love Island timelines, this week we should get an I love you. We should get an official couple. We need a boyfriend and girlfriend.
No
Like-
more bombshells. Like if,
No, we got room for
Well, no,
bombshells.
there'll be more
We got room
bombshells.
for
Will there?
bombshells. Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
on a revolving door, probably.
Yeah.
Because Elma needs someone, Naz needs someone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It
Well,
does feel a bit like Singletown in there right now. Like, Naz, poor bloke hasn't had a sniff of action the whole time he's been in there. Like,
Bless him.
And also, he publicly said that he fancied Elma, and yet it has not been explored.
And Elma's just gone, thanks for that, mate.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
really
really
appreciate it.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
cheers,
Thanks.
thanks. Yeah, and then it's just done.
Well, Kate, can we pull you for a chat again tomorrow?
Of course you can.
Yay,
I couldn't think of anything better to do.
And guys, remember to put your opinions in the comments and any questions that you want us to put to the Islanders.
We'll be back tomorrow morning on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, and of course, ITVX. See you then. Bye.
Bye.